Hello, my name is Mustafa and this is MK Guitar and Uke. In this tutorial we're going to take a look at a fingerstyle arrangement of Metallica's Unforgiven. This is an intermediate arrangement that falls on the easy side of things. You get a catchy intro riff and a chorus that revolve mostly in the D minor and the F major chords. You get a verse that has power chords, which is not played a lot on the ukulele, in the top two strings, as well as some palm muting technique, which is more difficult on the ukulele than the guitar. You also get to play the first electric solo of the original song on the ukulele, so make sure you watch out for your right hand alternating technique. Sadly, I couldn't convincingly arrange the second solo on the ukulele because of all the high note bending in the original electric guitar solo. With that in mind, the intro riff and the chorus are plenty for you to have fun and get addicted to playing this arrangement. All the concepts that I use in this tutorial, I teach them and discuss them in details in my Ukulele Fingerstyle Basics course, which is a complete premium course for beginner to intermediate students that teaches you everything about fingerstyle technique. Plus, you get access to a growing library of graded repertoire from grade 0 to grade 5. With over 12 hours of content and over 110 lectures, it is definitely worth it to check it out. With that in mind, let's get started. So the Unforgiven starts with the iconic riff that repeats 4 times. So that's 4 bars of basically a D minor chord with the open E string that alternates with the first fret. And the picking pattern is very simple. It's middle, index, and thumb. And the rhythm is 8th note, and then 16th notes until you get to the end. Just make sure when you put your first finger that you don't stop the open E that is ringing too early. You don't want to stop that open E too early. And now what you want to do is you want to add shape to these chords. You don't want to play all of them the same way. You want to start loud and slowly come down towards the end of the bar. And now starts the intro where the electric guitar comes on top of the first 4 bars. So that's basically a D minor chord, and we're still alternating between the open E and the F note, and then there's that pull off towards the end. But basically we're still playing a D minor chord. What's important here is you bring out the different rhythm in this bar from the intro. 8th notes, and then you start again. With the difference being there is no pull off towards the end. And now starts the actual intro where the guitar and the drums and the acoustic guitar start playing together. Still D minor chord, now F major chord, but I'm not going to move anything except for my 3rd finger when I need to. So watch out for that. 3rd finger. Right? I move it only when I need to. And that's pull off. Make sure you alternate your right hand fingers between those 2 Fs that happens at the end of bar 6 and the beginning of bar 7. Here you have 2 open notes to move your hand all the way to the harmonic, and you still have enough time to come back and hit that A on the low G. And here for those 2 rapid 2/8 notes, I use my middle index, and then middle. And then while I'm playing that D, I'll play it and quickly slide to the E note. And I like to personally articulate it where I stop the E, almost like staccato. F major chord, ring finger. Here you can use your 3rd finger because you'll need your 4th towards the end of the bar. Now you're going to stretch, play the 4th fret, pull off to the 1st, play the 2nd, hammer on the 4th, and then come back with your 3rd finger on that 2nd. This is the same bars at the beginning, and we'll slowly come to that rest. Now starts the verse. So that's 2 and 3, and I'm using my 4th finger and 2nd finger. And I'm using my middle index for that pattern. Now starts a palm mute for those A's. Palm muting on the ukulele is hard, so if you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. But basically, you're going to bring the palm of your right hand and you're going to lightly touch the strings to get a muted sound instead of an actual ringing A. Now the reason it's hard is because palm muting works better on thicker strings, and on the ukulele we don't have thick strings. The other reason it's hard is because you have to alternate in your right hand technique between palm muting to no muting. And it's even harder when it's on the 3rd string. It's all D minor chords so far. Here you're going to hold your 4th and 3rd finger, and then you're going to play the open C and hammer the A. And then while you have the A with your 2nd finger, you're going to bring your 3rd finger down, and it's basically a G7 chord shape. Basically, again, you have that kind of C chord shape, and then you have that G major chord shape, and then you kind of have a D minor or a G7 depending on how you want to see it. Now we're going to interrupt the palm muting of the power chords with a riff that plays a melody note, an open G, and then 2 Ds. Now the trick here is that the melody notes are F, E, and then the D, and then the C. But we still have to play the open G and the 2 Ds. So what that means is we have to accent our melody notes, especially when they are on the same string as the Ds, so they pop. So now you're going to play pop, pop, and quickly. Now you're not going to do a pull off, you're going to play those notes. And the same thing, pop, 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 pop. And now starts the chorus, which brings us back to that D minor chord shape, or that intro riff. That's a pull off, make sure you alternate your right hand fingers, F major chord. Alternate right hand fingers. Here I'm using my 4th finger for the 3rd, 1st finger, 3rd finger, third finger, pull off, D minor chord shape again. And that brings us to that riff that we played at the end of the verse. The chorus and the intro riff are very similar to each other, except we have that vocal melody that we have to take care of, which is, what I've felt, what I've known. And that's what makes the chorus riff so addicting and so much fun to play. So just make sure you watch out between the similarities between the chorus and the intro riff. It means you have to practice the chorus less, but you still want to be able to identify how it is different from the intro riff so that it sounds like it's the chorus. The beautiful thing is, once you play the verse and the chorus, you do it again, and you've already killed half the time of the piece. There's not really a lot of different units to learn in this arrangement. But now comes the acoustic solo. So it starts with the 2nd finger on the D, and it's all about you alternating your right hand fingers, sort of like a down up stroke or alternative picking for the electric guitar. A trill, 3rd finger, so you can play that D minor chord. Now middle index, 1st finger, 3rd finger. You can slide if you want, back to the 3rd. I don't think I slide in the actual recording. I just think if you don't slide, it's a little bit cleaner. And then you play open, and then 3rd and 4th finger. Here you can slide because it is in the actual song's recording. And then you're gonna play middle. All about your right hand finger alternation. Here you're going to play all those notes, avoid a hammer on, but when you play the open low G, you can hammer the first fret, then the second fret, third finger. This part is actually the hardest, I think, in the solo, because you're going to have to cut that first fret too early to be able to play the open and hammer on. So you have to hold it as long as possible to kind of create the illusion that the note was still there. Then comes the last lick, trill. So now you're going to position shift with the first finger going to the 7th fret. Now 2nd and 4th, and you're going to hold that shape and slide it all the way across all those frets. So that's 8 and 10, 10 and 12, and then 12 and 14. Now you're going to use 2nd finger and 3rd finger for the 14 and 15, and then you're going to hit the 17th fret. So that becomes... Now quickly, while the 17th fret is resonating, you're going to gracefully let go of it, right? So don't do a pull off, just gracefully let go and play that final chorus. And so on and so on. So the whole trick is to connect the 17th fret to that 2nd fret that begins the chorus. But don't worry, you have more time than you think, and because it's the end of the solo, people will forgive you if you miss a beat or two as you slowly transition. You can fake that by taking a breath. And then people will say, oh, okay, well, that kind of connected nicely. But what you basically did is you gave yourself an extra half a second to be able to move to get to that 2nd fret. Luckily for us, it is the 2nd fret, and we play that a lot, whether it's the F major chord, D minor chord, or D major chord. But we're familiar with where the 2nd fret is, so we don't have to work too hard. The idea is we need to be able to start the chorus and not make a mistake at the beginning of the chorus. With that in mind, this is a fun piece to play that has a lot of repeating parts. It's mostly in D minor, so it's fairly easy to play. You just have to watch out between those legato moves. So I hope you enjoy it. This is definitely one of my favorites by Metallica, and I'll see you next time.